Hello, everyone.
Hi, Rick.
How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. We're getting assembled here.
Sounds
Just give us
good.
a few moments. Hi, Simone.
Good morning, Candice.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Hey,
Hello.
Martin.
Hello.
Thanks for resending the meeting link,
No
Candace,
problem.
because I lost it.
No problem. I'm glad we were able to get it out. We'll give folks a couple of minutes since there might have been some confusion about the meeting.
Yeah, Ryan just came in my office, so he was going back to his office. So I'm sure he's trying to get
Okay.
it right now.
Okay, no problem. Thank you all for your patience.
Yeah, because right now we only have one, right?
Correct.
See, I thought I had the audit up. I don't see it. Shoot. Okay.
Hi, Ryan.
Mute Ryan.
There we go.
Good
How you
afternoon. Doing well. Thank you for joining. We're going to give folks a couple of seconds. There might have been some confusion about the meeting, so we need another trustee, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't see a quorum yet, so
Yeah,
I can't
on the
call
Google,
anything to order.
on the Google Calendar, it says that the meeting is canceled, so there may be some confusion.
Yeah, I noticed. So when Jessie came in, she shared that, and I said, "No, we're still meeting." So I tried to send out an email to folks and give the. So we'll give a few moments. I'm not sure how the cancellation came through, but I appreciate everybody's patience.
I'm just kind of continuing my regular day job over here and kind of keeping an eye, waiting for a second board member to pop in. So
We'll keep
if one pops in and I'm not paying attention, just say something. I'm listening.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Trustee Martin.
Candace, can someone text or call the other members and see if they're gonna come?
Available. Yeah, I'll do.
Yeah, if they haven't.
I just heard from Trustee Wang and he's not able to make it. So I'm working on Trustee Silver.
I'm gonna take a call while we're waiting here.
Sounds good. Trustee Martin, I haven't had a chance to get in contact with Tammy. She's not answering yet. One of our options could be we could listen to the presentation. We just couldn't make a formal recommendation. We could do that at the board meeting next week. It'd be sort of like a preview to the board meeting next week, and then you could, lead the discussion in your report out at the beginning of the meeting, and then we could invite Ide Bailey at the, to reorder them at the beginning, and they can give their presentation again then.
Okay, sure. So there's no meeting to call to order. This just kind of became a private conversation for me. I think
Trustee Chan.
we have, yes, we do
diligent-
have trustee Chan.
our
You are
diligent
correct.
student
A
trustee.
private, it's a private conversation for us. So you have to step into big shoes really quick, Simone. Okay, so I think you can give me a high level, really quick
Okay.
presentation on it. I have to say that I did review it, but because we didn't really get it very timely, I gave it a pretty quick, review. So as Rick may remember, if we were there in person, I had 30 post-it notes, tagged.
Absolutely.
You don't have to worry about that. I didn't have time to put 30 post-it notes down on this one. I was just trying to get the high level as fast as I
Sure.
could.
Well, we have
So,
good news.
That's
It was
good for you, I guess. And I
Sounds
guess if
good.
there was ever a year to not worry about, this might be the year. Anyway,
Yep.
go ahead,
Sure.
give me the quick once over, and I'll ask a couple questions I may have, and then
Okay.
will everybody get back to their real work day.
Sounds good. Well, thanks everyone for having us. This is your draft copy of the report. And if you remember in years past, I always like to begin with by saying what our scope of our audit is. And we render 3 major opinions. We give an opinion on the federal, or on the financial statements. So we have a financial statement opinion. In addition to that, we have a federal compliance opinion. And the last opinion we do give is the state of California's opinion. Each year, the state chancellor's office gives us a laundry list of items to test, and we give an opinion on that as well. There was actually some big changes this year for audits. Two changes that really impacted the audit. We have what we call SAS 134, Statement on Auditing Standards 134, and it actually changed the opinion. So if you looked at last year's opinion and compared it to this year's opinion, you could see significant differences. It's gotten a lot longer. In the past, the audit opinion was always at the end of the opinion page. It's actually in the beginning now. So that's, I think, is a really good thing, because it kind of gets to what you need to get to in the beginning rather than having to reading all this other information, and then finally you get to see the opinion. In addition to that, we had a change in GASB. GASB 87 was a significant change. So it resulted in what we call a restatement of the beginning balance from prior year. So anytime you have a restatement, you either have a restatement because of an error in accounting. I'm happy to report that that is not why you have a restatement. The restatement is because of the change in accounting principle for this GASB 87. So that's the big difference between last year to this year.
Is
Just
GASB 87, is that the capitalized lease?
Yes, it's a lease standard. So
Okay,
basically, it changed how leases are accounted for. If you ever took an accounting class, you always grouped leases by operating leases versus capital leases. That's all gone now. Now it's just basically short-term and long-term leases. A long-term lease is anything 12 months or more. So basically, if you have a lease that's more than 12 months, it's actually going to be booked on the face of the financial statements by the district. So you're going to have a fixed asset, and then you're going to have a subsequent long-term debt for that that lease. So that's kind of the little high-level change in the GASB. So if you go to page 1, which is the audit opinion, I can kind of show you what I was talking about. At the very beginning, the first paragraph, it says opinion. So that's really good. You don't have to go to the very end. And, you really look focused on the second paragraph where it says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects. This is
Actually,
what
Rick,
we call.
real quick, does anybody mind if I share my screen just so we have it up?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Ryan, why don't you do that? Just
All
so,
right, all right.
I'm sorry, I should have did that in the
No
beginning.
worries, I got
Ryan
it.
was ready to share a screen. So
All right.
there we go. So Ryan's focused on the second paragraph. That is what we call an unmodified opinion. An unmodified opinion is the cleanest opinion you could receive from an auditor, and it states the financial statements are fairly stated. Keep in mind, with the financial statement opinion, most districts will receive an unmodified opinion because what auditors do, they come in, they audit the books. If auditors see errors, they basically will propose audit adjustments to management. If management accepts those audit adjustments, you receive a clean opinion. This district received a clean opinion without any audit adjustments. So we basically agreed with the financial statement information that the district provided us in the form of their general ledger. So we agreed with those numbers. So that's really good. Starting on page 5, and I won't get in much detail. If you guys have questions, feel free to just throw them our way. That is the management discussion analysis. I always say this is a really good place to start with the report. The report is really long and there's a lot of information in this report, but I always say start with the MD&A because it really gives a review of current year compared to prior year. And this is prepared by the management of the district. They go in here and they basically tell why there's reasons of the differences noted from last year to this year. So it's a really good place to start. The financial statements start on page 15. And keep in mind, these are basically consolidated financial statements with the inception of GASB 34, which was, I mean, it's been a good almost 20 years that GASB 34 came into play. It basically had the districts consolidate all their funds into one financial statement. In addition to that, you have your fixed assets that the district has, as well as the long-term debt the district has. So, in the old days under the modified accrual basis, it was really, the current assets and current liabilities you showed on the financial statements, with the exception of the implementation of GASB 34 and 35, it created where you put your long-term assets as well as your long-term liabilities on the face of the financial statement. All right. I'll head on to what I think is probably the most important page is the summary of auditors' results. I always say it's basically the report card for the district. On that page, and Brian's going to that page right now. There you go. On that page, it lists the 3 major opinions that we do give. The financial statement, the federal awards, and the state compliance opinion. So the district received an unmodified opinion, like as I mentioned before, on the financial statements. I'm happy to report we didn't have any findings or recommendations with financial statements. So the district received a blank page on that page. And, as auditors, we're not allowed to give any type of positive assurance. Auditors are only allowed to give negative assurance. That's within our professional standards. So, I always say no news is good news from an auditor. Because if it's something that we put in writing, it's usually because there's a significant deficiency or a material weakness. I'm happy to say we didn't have any of those issues. So you get a blank page. That's the nicest we can get. For federal awards, the district also received an unmodified opinion. So the district met all the federal compliance requirements which we're required to test. And with federal compliance, we're basically a type A program of the district, and that's for this district, it's anything over $2.6 million is a type A program. All type A programs need to be audited by federal guidelines once every 3 years, with the exception of the COVID money. That needs to be audited every year because the federal government basically has this, these funds as high risk. So when the federal government has a program as high risk, the auditors have to look at it every year. So that's why we've continually have audited the HERF money that the district received. It's a requirement from the federal government. For state awards, the district also received an unmodified opinion. So the district met all the state compliance requirements, which we're required to test for this fiscal year. And if Ryan goes to the next page, next couple pages, you could see that we have our blank pages for the financial statements, the federal awards page, as well as the state compliance. So the district received all unmodified opinions, and we had no findings and recommendations this year. If you go down to the other page, Ryan, as auditors, we're required to look at prior year findings. And if you remember from last year, we had a finding with regards to the allocation metrics for state compliance. And I'm happy to say we didn't have any issues. You can see that the current status is implemented. So I'd always like to point that out. You know, as auditors, we don't like to see reoccurring findings or anything like that. So, you know, we really like to see when, you know, the districts implement their prior year findings. One last thing I'd like to mention, because it's new to this year, I mentioned SAS 134. One of those changes is the fact that we issue a separate letter. If you remember right, it's usually like a 2-page, 3-page letter. It's to those charged with governance. Within that letter, and we haven't put it together yet, it's one of the last things we do. Within that letter, we would need to let the board know if we had any difficulties encountered during the audit, any difficulties with management, you know, getting our information. I'm happy to say we didn't have any of those issues. You know, the district is always well prepared when we come out. They give us our information in a timely manner, which we really appreciate, especially this year, because just in general, with all our jobs, this year was probably, I think, the hardest year that we've ever had to prepare audits. You know, part of the reason why is the last couple of years we've had extensions through the chancellor's office through the end of February to issue the reports. So I think some of our districts got into that mode where, you know, they could give us our information kind of, you know, after we're out there to do the audit. So, you know, we've had some districts that we've had to put on extension, that they're not to get their audit report issued on time. So when we have a district who gave us our information in a timely manner, I just like to thank them. So I really appreciate management for their hard work in that case, because, you know, your report will be issued in time to the chancellor's office, and you won't be no delay there. But with the new change in the SAS 134, one of the areas what they have our professional standards has us do is to list what we call significant audit risk. As auditors, we do a risk assessment. So this is something we've always done. We've always had significant risks. And then basically what we do is, you know, we want to make sure when we do an audit, we're just not randomly coming in, you know, and looking at just particular areas. We want to focus on what we call the more riskier areas. So we actually have to enclose those significant risks in that letter that we're going to provide to management. So I just wanted to give you a heads up, because you're going to see stuff, and with any governmental agency, there's always 2 significant audit risks. So whether we're auditing, you know, a community college district, a K-12 district, we're always going to have 2 significant audit risks evident in every audit we do. And that's management's ability to override controls and revenue recognition. Those are always considered a significant audit risk in an audit. So it's going to be enclosed in that letter. I just don't want anyone to get concerned. Well, sometimes they see that and they're like, oh, okay, what's going on now? I don't remember seeing this in the letter. I just wanted to give you guys an update that if we had any concerns noted in those areas, it would be included in the findings. So we didn't have any of those issues. It's just professional standards now that we disclose that information to the board. So you'll see that, and just want to give you a heads up because we've had some calls going, okay, what's going on? I didn't see this. Do we have issues? But if there were issues, they'd be in the audit report and the findings and recommendations. Other than that, I mean, it was a really good audit. Really, just again, appreciate management for their hard work in completing this year's audit. So we can answer any questions that anyone that has.
Well, I appreciate that high level and hearing all that. My only my only question that I had time to come up with is on page 72 of the audit, page 76 of the PDF. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 rows down, planned fiduciary net position. Yes, right there.
Mhm.
Minus 0.8. So explain what is causing that, what is that ratio? And if I know what the numerator and denominator are, I probably will get what it's telling me, but
No worries. I'll go over this. So this is
Okay.
for the MPP program. Is what this is this is a supplemental like pension program through STRS where they'll pay the Medicare premiums for certain retirees. I think the plan, it stopped enrolling new enrollees back in 2012, so it's kind of a residual plan. Basically is what that negative 0.8 means is they have less assets available for this liability in the STRS pot as for the liability. However, STRS at the same time pools this liability with their own general one. So this is a actuarially determined statewide number. Everybody has this 0.08. Every single district, every single K through 12 has this in there. It's has no reflection whatsoever of PCC, can't influence it, can't have anything to do with it. It's just a state little supplemental plan that's slowly fading out as the retirees fade out themselves, unfortunately.
okay, well, let's fast forward to PDF page 110, audit page 103.
Yes.
Maybe I got that wrong. Oh, sorry.
No worries.
We were right there. Audit page 73. I think that's PDF page 77. It's here we have similar language, only here it's 81%.
Yes.
Planned fiduciary net position. Now this is in relation to CalPERS.
Yep.
Or above it, 87% in relation to Cal STRS. So listening to what you just said and trying to take that into a high level concept, I'm not going to worry about the one before it because it's not tremendously significant. What is 81 and 87%? I'm reading that's how much of the plan is funded, but
Yes.
I can't believe that that's really true.
That's true. So 2 things going on here. One is the column for 2022. Its measured date is 1 year back. So it's really as of 2021. As of that date, you'll see this percentage jumped up for STRS, at least 15%. That's because during that year, investments did very well. So is what this number is saying is that as of June 30th, the STRS plan is 87% funded. However, we know since June 30th, 2021, investments have kind of taken a dive. So is what you see is here's your STRS liability number up here. So you can see, I'm sorry, Leo, this is your share of it. It went from 109 to 54. Traditionally, you can see this number has hovered right around 70, 71, 72%. But for this one snapshot in time, it did go up to 87. Next year, it will probably come right back down to where it was in line because those pension assets, they have a discount rate of, I believe, about 7%, and they earned during that 2021 year, earned a whole lot more than the 7%.
And
So
John,
now-
that's why if you go to page 16, you can see that the district's net assets increased about $40.5 million.
I saw
That's
that.
really,
Yeah.
that's really a result
This
of the
is where
pension
it comes
liability
from.
going down. But like Ryan mentioned, it's going to go right back up next year because the valuation of those assets.
So the 54 million is a ratio of our share of whatever the total happens to be.
Correct.
Correct. Absolutely.
Trustee Martin, trustee Silver is here. I just wanted to,
Okay,
you know,
well,
I apologize. On the laptop it's fairly small. Can the document be enlarged? Thank you.
Perfect.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you.
trustee
okay.
Martin, did you want to formally call the meeting?
Yeah, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items?
There are no public comments.
Okay, Tammy, were both you and I present July 6th and August 31st? I'm trying to think back.
I can look at my calendar.
Well, or somebody look at the minutes, it'll
Oh,
tell us.
August 31st.
Somebody who has the minutes open, were we both there? Can we approve these minutes if,
Don't think I was here in August 31st. I mean, I wasn't in the country. I don't know if I came in to the meeting.
I think
I don't have the board doc open to look and check.
I have the minutes, just, I'm gonna pull them up right now.
Okay,
Hi, Simone.
Hello.
okay, while she's doing that, if all we have to discuss on February 8th is the 311Q, I don't think that's worth a meeting. If you want to give us if somebody's available to give us like a calendar year-end investment report along with it, then you might have a 30-minute meeting. But without that, it doesn't seem to me like it's worth the time and effort to everybody goes through to assemble a meeting.
Trustee Martin, is that for the next meeting?
Yeah, I'm looking down calendar here for the February 8th, 6 p.m. 311Q meeting. And I don't know if by February 8th, someone can give us an investment report that kind of reflects on January 1st to December 31st of 2022. And even if they could, I don't know if we'd want to hear it, but maybe we ought to hear it anyway.
We can arrange that.
Okay, if you can tag team that with the 311Q, then you might have a meeting, but so maybe we'll keep it on calendar then. If you can't, I don't think it's worth everybody's time and effort for just 311Q.
I'm at ACC. That was, what was that date again?
February 8th.
Right. I will be in transit back from the ACCT conference.
Well, there goes the picnic. So I think we are not going to have the meeting on February 8th.
I could do the next day.
I'd have to look, and then we have to check in with our other member.
Trustee Silver did not, that was the adopted budget, the last meeting that we had, and she was traveling at that time.
Okay, and that was, what about the meeting before that where the minutes have not been approved? There was
That's
also one
actually-
that I was missing. I can't remember if it was that one or the,
That meeting, so let's see, the Wednesday, August 31st meeting? Or
No,
the July meeting, you might have had a different composition at that time.
yep.
But I would have been on it.
Mhm.
What's the date?
Looking now, I'm sorry, I'm going back through Mary's info.
July 6th.
I would have. I believe I was there.
I don't remember if I was there. I could either dig in a file, which isn't worth everybody watching me do, or go on board docs and look, but Candace is ahead of me on that one.
Yeah, I believe you both were in at the July meeting.
Okay, you want to approve the minutes of July 6th?
So moved.
Tammy, second, in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, we got that one off. August 31st, we'll have to come back.
Was Alton at the August
Yeah.
31st meeting? Okay.
He
That's a
was.
good question.
He was.
Okay, we'll wait for him on that one. I'm good on February 9th. If Alton is good on February 9th. Oh, I'm in March. Sorry, wrong month. Yeah, I'm good on the 9th. If Alton is good on the 9th, but again, for the investment report in the 311Q, you could probably just send us that. I think in respect to everybody's time, if you could just send us those reports.
Similar to what we did with the 311 first quarter.
Right, just send us the 311 and send us the investment report for 12/31, and let's not call a meeting and
Okay,
make you guys go through this.
we can do that.
Okay, future agenda items, anyone?
Trustee Martin, do we want to make a motion to, do we have any other questions on the,
I was gonna get back to that. I was just trying to knock off everything else.
okay,
Okay, okay, so I don't see any future agenda items. So we covered the agenda except for, of course, the audit, which is the most important thing, and Tammy missed the presentation. So, and you answered the only question that I had, and Tammy, I made a suggestion that in the future, we really need to get this like, a week ahead, give us a week or at least a weekend to get a chance to look at it a little more thoroughly. Did you have any questions, Tammy, besides missing the presentation? Did you have any questions from the
did.
audit?
I ran out of the house for this celebration without my laptop, and I had some sticky notes on the document, but maybe I can just ask Candace at a later time if that's thing.
Or,
because
yeah.
I can't remember what my questions were.
So my thought here would be if, depending on how severe your questions were,
Yeah.
we could recommend it to the board and close the meeting. And then if Rick and Tammy and Candace or somebody want to hang around to get the short presentation Rick gave us so that Tammy could hear it, and you could, if you don't mind, Rick, repeating it again.
Sure.
Well, but without keeping everybody else in the recording and everything going, because we kind of officially went through it. It's on the recording. Everybody heard it. But I want to get Tammy up to speed. Does that work? Do you feel comfortable doing that, Tammy? I don't want to put you in an
Yes.
uncomfortable spot.
Oh, no.
Okay, so if we can
absolutely.
have a motion to recommend this to the board, if you don't
And-
mind making that motion.
I move we recommend this budget to the board.
Okay, the audit to the board, and
Audit,
I'll second that. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, with that, I'm going to officially adjourn the meeting. And anyone, I think anybody wants to hang and hear it again, it won't be an official part of the meeting. The action's already taken. But I do want to make sure Trustee Silver, or if you guys just want to call each other privately, if that's more convenient, whatever, I'd like to get her caught up to what you presented to us. Rick, I thought that was a very good high-level overview. Are you going to be doing that at the board meeting next week, or?
Yeah, probably even a little bit more high level. I mean, I really just focus on the summary of auditors results. So
Yeah, I think it could be a little more, even a little shorter,
Yeah.
and that would be fine.
yeah, I could take care of that. No problem.
Yeah,